Honourable members, I take this opportunity to welcome you to the first special sittings of the House in the year 2022. The special sittings have been convened pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 29 relating to the procedure for convening of special sittings of the House during recess. Let me also take this opportunity to wish every one of you, your families and the constituents good health, peace and the prosperity in this year 2022. Honourable members, I wish to report to the House that on the 29th of December 2021, I received a request from the leader of the majority party requesting that special sittings of the National Assembly be convened on the 5th, 6th and 7th of January 2022 to consider certain urgent business. Other than the preliminary items of business of the House, the urgent business specified in the request by the leader of the majority party included consideration in committee of the whole House and third reading of the Political Parties Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 56 of 2021, starting from clause 8, and second reading, committee of the whole House, and third reading of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 32 of 2021. Honourable members, having taken cognizance of the urgency of the business so specified, I acceded to the request to convene special sittings of the House today, Wednesday 5th, tomorrow, Thursday 6th, and Friday 7th January 2022, commencing at 10 a.m., in the case of the morning sittings, and 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sittings. Consequently, and in keeping with the requirements of Standing Order 29, I did gazette the same special sittings of the House via the Gazette Notice number 14275, dated 31st December 2021. In this regard, special sittings of the House today, Wednesday 5th, tomorrow, Thursday 6th, and Friday 7th of January 2022 are properly convened. Now, members, let me resume my seat to allow the members at the door to make their way in. Please do it quickly. Make your way in quickly so that we can looks like some members are more keen on logging in than no, members, just make you can go and log in later. I'm aware that some of you log in and disappear. So just make your way in if you intend to show yourself in as having been in the House. I'll ignore the member who appears to be very busy on his phone from the villagers. I think. I think there are too many who are. Those of you who are making your way in, you run if you don't come in, you run the risk of having to stand there until I finish this communication. Now, honourable members, let me proceed. Honourable members, the business to be transacted by the House during the special sittings is as specified in the Gazette Notice I've referred to, and indeed, has also notified to our members and the public by way of the newspaper notifications published by the Clerk of the National Assembly on the 31st of December 2021 and on 3rd January 2022. Further, as notified in the said Gazette, if need arises, the sittings during the same days, being special ones, may automatically extend until conclusion of the business specified in the Gazette without a member having to move a motion under Standing Order number 30, paragraph A. Honourable members, you will also recall that following the COVID-19 pandemic, the chamber speaking and electronic voting system was reconfigured to accommodate 120 members in line with the advisory from the Ministry of Health. The advisory, notwithstanding, have revised the Speaker's Guidelines number 2 of 2021 to allow all members desiring to take part in any vote or any division called to do so by way of electronic voting as contemplated under Standing Order number 70. In this regard, the chamber speaking and electronic voting system have been reconfigured to accommodate 325 members and are ready for use. Honourable members, may I remind the House that pursuant to the Provisional Standing Order number 70, should there be any divisions called during the specified sittings, members will only use the electronic voting system. Therefore, as notified on 3rd of January 2022, I hope members who may have misplaced their voting cards have obtained replacements. Those who haven't are hereby asked to do so, since the replacements exercise will continue throughout the special sittings. For clarity on our members, there will be no need for members to come and crowd around the Speaker's chair. If you don't have a card or you have those funny fingers that don't grab to go and talk to the clerks, I know there are some of you who have fingers which don't, which have problems with electronic systems. But you do what you do, you will have to comply with it as you do in airports, in other jurisdictions when you travel. Don't come to say that your fingers have some peculiar problems from the village. Even if it is a family problem, please don't bring it here. Further, honourable members, I've also allowed the clerk to publish supplementary order papers for the morning and afternoon sittings of today, Wednesday, January 5th, 2022, to accommodate the leader of the majority party and 3 other honourable members who submitted additional proposed amendments just a few minutes past the 24-hour deadline as stipulated under Standing Order 133, subsection 2. Honourable members, as indicated by the Deputy Speaker during the last special sittings of the House, it is unusual for the Speaker not to preside over the commencement part of any sitting of the House, save for the ordinary morning sittings. Indeed, as notified by the Deputy Speaker, my absence from the House was as a result of a minor accident which happened during my usual duties in the office. Thank you. I ended up with a right hand upper arm fracture and injury to tendons. I sought medical attention and was advised to recuperate away from the office after undergoing a surgery. I've since been recuperating well and I'm getting better each day. Unfortunately, the pain has been persistent and I am still wearing part of the shoulder support mechanism. I will preside during the first part of the special sitting, as is our usual practice, and thereafter retreat to my chambers. I will obviously be unable to extend my right hand for greetings in view of that surgery. It's just a request to all our members to just be satisfied with me waving at you, or with the left hand. Having stated that, I humbly request all our members to refrain from consulting me while at the chair, since I will be available in my chambers for any urgent consultations. Honourable members, I sincerely thank the Deputy Speaker and the members of the Chairperson's panel for ably taking up part of my duties during the absence and constant consultations we've had. I also thank each and every one of you, and indeed all Kenyans, for your prayers and goodwill messages, which I kept receiving. Honourable members, as we transact the important business before the House during the special sittings, I urge all of members of this august House to conduct themselves with patience and decorum. You will also agree with me that legislative business is largely about genuine debate and persuasion. At the end of it all, as indeed guided by the old parliamentary dictum in a democracy, the minority will have their say and the majority will always have their way. It is unacceptable for either side to apply unfair means to deny the other from fulfilling their part. In this regard, even though you may disagree with one another, or in the case of defeats or wins by any side to any vote or decision, it is important to keep in mind that we are all state officers and people's representatives who would conduct themselves with the highest standards and decorum. The House is accordingly guided, and I urge you, honourable members, since debate on the first business was concluded in second reading, and I want to confirm that I have participated in a consultation that resulted in the very limited contributions by movers of proposed amendments to merely explain the purpose and purport of their proposed amendments, have one or two members second or disagree, and then put the matter to vote on our members. I thank you, all of you, honourable members. Thank you.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
What? There's a... Honourable Duale, you have a...
Honourable Speaker, I wish you quick recovery. Honourable Speaker, our last special sitting, and this is about a procedure I want you to rule on, we dealt with clause 7. And Chair, if you look at the Hansard, the Chair then said, because we had a number of amendments, me included, I was amending section 7, C and E. So the Chair then said, we start with the amendment by the Honorable Alice Wahome, which was seeking a deletion. And that if the House agrees with the amendment by the Honorable Alice Wahome of Kandara, then automatically and procedurally all our amendments will fall, because she was deleting the whole clause. But the situation now is that the House disagreed with Honorable Alice Wahome in as far as her amendment, which was deleting clause 7. By the House disagreeing with Honorable Alice Wahome, it automatically means that now clause 7 is in the bill. Mr. Speaker, I expected, because I participated in the committee of the whole House for the last 14 years, I expected in that scenario, then those of us who had amendments to certain sections of clause 7 had an opportunity to execute our amendments. But to my shock, I'm seeing in the other paper, we are beginning with the clause 8. With the clause 8. So, Mr. Speaker, in that kind of a scenario, because I've said if Honorable Alice Wahome's amendment could have been carried by the House and clause 7 is deleted, then all of us who had amendments to sections within clause 7 we had no opportunity because the clause is not existing. But now we have a situation where clause 7, Alice Home's amendment has been rejected by the House, both in terms of her amendment and even in terms of the global question. So procedurally, Mr. Speaker, then Honorable Omilele, I think, or Honorable Mariru said, he said that it's unanswered, that if Honorable Alice Home's amendment is carried, all the other amendments of other members will drop. Now the situation is Alice Home's amendment has been rejected by the House. So procedurally, I am here this morning as a member for Garissa Township to execute my amendment dealing with clause C and E. So Mr. Speaker, and I spoke last night, when I saw it, I spoke to the staff of the clerk. So I need your guidance so that procedurally, I think the order paper should have started with clause 7 and our amendment, and I think I'm not the only one. I look at the order paper. So Mr. Speaker, I need your guidance on that. That's only basically on procedure.
I thought are we dealing with this preliminary issue? Honorable Kajuan. You have a problem in that. You have a problem in that I am not able to
under the right hand.
To extend the right hand as I should.
Mr. Speaker, sir, good morning. We are all excited to have you presiding over this session. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Duale, member for Garissa Town, raises a pertinent issue and requests for your direction on the matter. But even as you think through to give directions on the matter, may I add that a few things happened on that day that are important to think through. The Hansard, when you retire and look at the Hansard, will show that it is true that Honorable Alice Wahome's amendment were negatived. And I'm speaking as the Vice Chair of the committee that was prosecuting those amendments. It was negatived. She was seeking the deletion, and ordinarily it would have worked. I have been in the panel, and so I know something about that. Ordinarily, then the other movers of the amendments would have then rose in their places to execute the amendments. But soon after Alice Wahome's amendments were dropped, we went to the global question. The Hansard will show you that very clear. We went to the global question, and it was put and acceded to by a majority. There was a division to it, as it were, in the bill, became what it is. It could be an infraction. It is true that it could be an infraction of the procedure, because one would have thought that Honorable Duale and other people who had amendment would have prosecuted the amendments. But the House proceeded in the manner in which we were constituted. As you know, it was a very interesting House that day. So whatever happened, the issue was that a global question was put. That question was acceded to, and there was a division to it, and the division was overwhelmingly by a vote carried. So I understand and I feel Honorable Duale where he finds himself, but the question that you'd want to peep through is now how to clamp back and open a vote that the House has taken on an issue. Because as you know, Mr. Speaker, the House on a vote decides an issue. And yes, procedurally, one or two things are bound to happen or not happen. But once a House has taken a decision on something, especially when a division has been taken on an issue, you will want to think through how you want to clamp back on that. The second thing, and the last one, is that soon after, Honorable Murugara, I'm sure the Speaker will recognize your presence. But the second thing and the last one, immediately after that happened, a section of members decided to leave the chamber in the middle of a division, which so as far as 107 is concerned, it's actually a gross disorder. But anyway, they somehow managed to overwhelm the sergeants and opened the doors, opened the bar, and opened the doors and left the chamber. And after that, a lot of procedures were taken procedurally. The house in committee was reported to the the committee was reported to the house, and votes were taken. And it was not a vote by a section of people, it was a vote by the whole house, and there were dissensions, the nays and the ayes. So the question you want to reflect upon, Mr. Speaker, this morning, other than what Honorable Dwale said, is how then would our Speaker be able to open back and clamp back on decisions which have been validly taken by the House, knowing that the decisions of the House are valid. The Constitution says that the decisions are valid notwithstanding infractions of procedure. And I think that must be in, I think, again, 108 or 107 of the Constitution of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Murugara.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable T.J. Kajwang may actually not have represented issues the way they were. Under Standing Order number 30, the business of the House was to come to a close at midnight. No. Yes, it was to come to a close at midnight, Honorable Kibunya. It would not have been extended because it was gazetted up to that time. This is what happened. A few days to midnight, there was the issue of division as regards the question of the amendment by Honorable Alice. And the Speaker rightly read Standing Order number 30, Sub-Order 5. And they said the House cannot rise at the present moment because there is a division in the progress. Therefore, the extension past midnight was purely to ensure that the division was concluded. After the division was concluded and the vote was read out, that was the end of the business of that particular day. If the House proceeded to do anything else outside that division, then it was outside the standing orders and it was not procedural. And therefore, the Honorable Dwale is right to say the issue of amendment by Honorable Alice was actually concluded through a division. After that, the House should have rose so that the rest of the amendments would be canvassed on the next sitting. If anything was not done that way, it is a procedural, and Honorable Speaker, you have to revisit, think about it, and give us a proper direction. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, let me hear Honorable Junet. It's been I'll hear a few of you. Well, fortunately, I was following from my horse to bed. I know you rose 15 minutes too. I know the time the house rose. That day it was 1:45. Where I was, it was 1:45. So it's not that I wasn't following. I actually followed as you are addressing me, just address me as somebody who was with you, but not on the chair. Honorable Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I totally agree with you that your presence was felt. Even your spirit was around. We could feel it in the chamber that you are watching. Having said, Mr. Speaker, the issue that has been raised by Honorable Duale is a valid issue. But Mr. Speaker, as put well by Honorable Kajwang, Mr. Speaker, the issue was put to a vote. The amendment of Honorable Alice, and there was a division. And as Honorable Murungara said, the Speaker ruled that if there is a division, the House will continue past the time it was supposed to rise. But Mr. Speaker, when we finished that division, and the vote was counted and declared here, Mr. Speaker, there were no members to move the amendments. Honorable Duale had gone to bed by midnight. You know, he's a Muslim, he doesn't spend outside his house. I know him. He's a very loyal husband, I know him, Mr. Speaker. He left here, and no one is there to move his amendment. The other members who are here, no one is there. No, you cannot move somebody's amendment. Amendment belongs to the owner. So, Mr. Speaker, the Speaker had no other option, Honorable Saipan, but to put the global question now. Mr. Speaker, you can't wake up people from their homes to come and move the amendment. So, Mr. Speaker, the global question was put, and the question was carried, Mr. Speaker, by acclamation. Fortunately, the whole of that day, that was the only question that had no division, Mr. Speaker, because there were no members who asked for division. So, Mr. Speaker, in my view, you have ruled, only Mr. Speaker, you have ruled many times in this House. If a member is not available to move his or her amendment, the amendment stands dropped, Mr. Speaker. You have ruled it many times. So, Mr. Speaker, in my view, I think we have serious business ahead of us. We should not, we should limit our time. But, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that I want to put to your attention. I know you are aware, you have been watching it, you know what has gone through. Mr. Speaker, it is an issue of members not being present to move the amendment. That's all, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Now, let me hear a lady, Honorable Wanga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issue that has been raised by Honorable Duale now, he should have raised it on the night that we were here before the global question was put. You know, Honorable Speaker, to be honest, and you are following, when we finished on Honorable Alice's amendment, we went ahead, the chair went ahead to put the global question. Honorable Duale was here, all those other people were here, nobody rose in their place to say that the global question has been put, yet my own amendment has not been addressed. So, Honorable Speaker, for Honorable Duale to rise now, he is many hours late because the global question was put and executed. And in any case, as Honorable TJ said, the members that are rising in their place lost the right because they were grossly disorderly by opening the bar and leaving in the middle of a division. Honorable Speaker, that was grossly disorderly. And in fact, to come back and raise that issue when they actually left the House in the middle of a division against the standing orders is really out of place. So Honorable Duale and the other members who had amendments should have raised this issue before the global question was put. But now, after Honorable Alice's amendment was prosecuted and defeated, the chair went ahead to put the global question that clause 7 be part of the bill. They remained here, they voted against it, and then they left in the middle of the division, and then they come back and say, we had amendments to clause 7. It is completely out of order, Honorable Speaker. And in any case, they should be found out of order for breaking the bar and leaving the House in the middle of a division. It is unacceptable, Honorable Speaker. I thank you.
Honourable members, I told you, in fact, the point I wanted to address is the one that Honourable Wanga has addressed. After concluding the first division on the amendment proposed by the Honourable Alice Wahome, having been defeated, what then remained was for any other member, since now the clause was there, and the next thing that the chair would do would be to now put the global question for it to be part of the bill. So any member who desired further amendments to it was then at liberty at that point, not any other point. At the point to rise in their places and claim that now that the clause is still there, I would only have lost my right to move the amendment if it had been carried. Now that it had remained, then any other member who had amendments was at liberty to rise at that time. At that time, to rise in their places and claim that I want to move my amendment. That is, don't forget, honour members, even at the global question, I told you, please, on matters of fact, also, don't just say no because you think it is fashionable to say no. It is also on record that even at the global question, there are still some members who voted for. Yeah? And others who voted against. The ones who voted against the global question were 15. You can go and check your records. I told you I was following you. There were 15. So go and check the record. Just go and check what happened that day. And therefore, if you remained around after the first question had been determined, no, after the time wasn't over. The reason on matters which are factual, please let's not argue. I was watching because, and I was very happy that the chairperson actually drew your attention to the provisions of Standing Order 30 clause 5. That in the middle of a division, and the Honourable Otiende, and that is the truth also. It is called a sitting. So when there's a division going on, you cannot raise the issue of time running out. And that's why the chairperson was perfectly right to rule that since we are in the middle of a division, we must continue until we finish. But that middle was the middle of the global question, division on the global question. Now when you start saying no from your place, I mean, we'll get the answer. We'll get the answer and you'll be embarrassed. Please. There was the question by Alice Wahome was the division of that question was finalized before midnight, and therefore there was still some time. That's why the chairperson went on to put the global question, because there was still some time, about 25 or 26 minutes. And when some of you, in fact, Honorable Sankok, is the Honorable Sankok who rose in his place and claimed that now we are almost going to midnight. And the chairperson ruled, we are in the middle of a division. Some of you seem to forget when you go for weekends. Don't get contaminated with what happens over weekends. The Honorable Sankok, you raised the issue of that we are almost close to midnight. You raised the issue of that we are almost close to midnight. it will. Now, you know, honor members, because now we must restore order in this house. Can I get the handstand? And if it shows that it was a global question, the Honorable Sankok, you will be thrown out of this house for the balance of the day. You cannot be doing this. This is not the way business is transacted. Can you get the handstand? It was. You cannot. No, I will not allow you to speak. I will not allow you to speak when you are trying to contradict the obvious. When you rose to raise the issue of time. Honor members, it was. Yes, it is the truth. The facts are there. It's being checked. So please don't just say it wasn't. Yet you know. So honor members, this is the honor members. Honor members, honorable Juliet, order members. Order members. Honor members, I do not have to retreat to come to make a ruling on this. This is a very obvious matter, and I told you that I was following you. I was following the proceedings throughout. And in fact, the issue of the time was upmost on my mind at the time, and I was very happy because the chairperson ruled in the correct manner. Now, the question on the amendment proposed by the Honorable Alice Wahome proceeded to division, and this is the result of the division. After question was put, House divided, question was negated by 145 votes to 126 votes. That is on the amendment proposed by the Honorable Alice Wahome. And therefore, procedurally, since as the Honorable Dwele rightly said, if that amendment had been other members, including the Honorable Dwele, would have fallen by the wayside because there would have been no clause 7 to amend. Now, since it was negatived, it was then incumbent upon the Honorable Duale and all others who had amendments to clause 7 to rise in their places and claim to move their proposed amendments. The record shows that none of them did that, and the global question was put. If you see it on your right, even equity does not help the indolent, because they proceeded to even ring the division bell for the global question. In fact, Honorable Duale, the record shows you to have been one of the members who was raised the issue of time. Yeah? So you are not raising the issue about whether you to move your amendment. But there was still time, there was still 20, if you look, we'll get the actual time. You know, you are at liberty. You are at liberty, honourable members, to rise in your place and say, before you put the global question, I also have my amendment. It appears that most of you got excited and got carried away with what was happening. You forgot that you had amendments. The record of the House shows, honourable members, the record of the House shows that the business relating to clause 7 was concluded. This is I'm just reading what is the Hansard and reported. In fact, where's the figures? At the very end. Even the figures. The figures are somewhere there. Honourable members, exactly. This is a record. The nays 15, the ayes 142. The net result, clause 7 is part of the bill. The ayes had it. So clause 7 is part of the bill. Honourable members, it will not be open to the Speaker. It will not be open to the Speaker at this point, honourable members, for me all I would want to ask you is, please, whatever happens, just if you have an amendment, just Honorable Sankok, since the House has already determined this, should you at some point, don't raise your hand up, Honorable Sankok, because I will not allow you to say anything on this. Because first of all, you are trying to deny the obvious. Now, if you feel that there is something that you need to do procedurally, at the close, you can apply for recometo. But the Speaker cannot be the one now to resurrect any proposed amendments that were not moved. Because the Speaker would be assuming a power that he doesn't have. So, Honorable Duale and other members who may have, because I don't know how many had also amendments, you will be at liberty to apply for recometo, which application or request will be subjected to the usual parliamentary processes. Yeah? Because the House has to agree to the recometo or not agree. So the speaker cannot be the one used to now to reopen that bit. So you still have a right. You still have a right, Honorable Duale and the others who had amendments to clause 7 to apply for recommendo. Because in any event, the decision to recommend will be by the same house, which will either carry the amendment or not carry it. And I think it's a better way, it's a safer way, it's a neater way, as opposed to getting the speaker now coming into the way to come and invalidate a vote that has already been taken. So, Honorable Duale, you are right, which you appear to have sat on or to have forgotten on that day, is not lost entirely. It is not lost entirely because you still have the opportunity to apply for recommendo. That will be procedurally the best way to go about it. So, honourable members, let us now move away from the procedure, from the preliminary issues, and move to business.
Order number 8, Committee of the Whole House.
No. What are these points of orders, please? No.
Or the ones who are taking this, please resume your seats. Order, members. Order. Order, members. Clause 8.
Clause 8.
Members, I propose a question which is a clause 8 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment of clause 8 by the Honorable Duale. Order, members. all the members, so that we do not say we did not know the import of the proposed amendment, please give time to Honorable Duale to move his amendment. And Honorable Duale must be heard. Honorable Duale, please move your proposed amendment on clause 8.
And Chair, you must say that if my amendment is defeated, then both at the first stage and at the global, then the other members will have theirs. But if mine is carried, then it falls. I think that you need to make it clear.
Honorable Duale, please move your amendment. We know the procedure.
No, you better say
but
it.
Don't assume. Why are you assuming your amendment is going to be defeated?
No, I'm just saying you must make it clear. You must make it clear because there are many people who have amendments to this. So, Chair, you need to make it clear the way your predecessor did it when we were there last time.
Very well, Honorable Duale, please move your proposed amendment.
Okay, Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 8 of the bill be amended by deleting. But I'm only deleting paragraph B, so why have you called me? I'm not deleting 8. I'm only deleting B. So you should look for, or I move B. Is there anybody who's deleting the whole clause? So I continue?
Honorable Chair, Honorable Duale, continue.
Okay, Madam Chair, I beg to move that clause 8 of the bill be amended by deleting paragraph B. Madam Chair, clause 8, paragraph B of this bill provides that in the case of a coalition political party, the coalition political parties shall submit the coalition agreement at least 6 months before a general election. Madam Chair, the gist and the reasoning behind that 8B is that this is intended to compel political parties to enter into coalition agreements and deposit with the registrar of political parties by February next year. By February. My honest opinion and submission that this House and its committees should not, and I say should not, be used as a decoy legislation to sanitize the character of certain leaders and parties who are known for political deceit every time when they enter into political coalition with other parties and other leaders, that they are known for conmanship. And now for them to be accepted and for them to win the next general election, they want to tell the country that we are not the people you knew before. We don't want to practice politics of deceit. And we know that it is in their DNA. Madam Chair, legislation should not be used to sanitize the character and the personality of certain leaders who, when they formed CORD and NASA, they have used parties and leaders for conmanship, for deceitful. What will change? Their DNA will not change. Madam Chair, this should not be allowed. We should not allow people. We want people to go to the people of Kenya, form honest coalitions, and they should not be allowed, and I said it, to use this floor and the committees of this House to fix. Madam Chair, the member for Ruaraka.
Honorable Duale, don't listen to other members. Please prosecute your
Yes, I'm about to finish. The member for Ruaraka, we are not in Uhuru Park where you throw in a certain character.
No. Honorable Duale.
Yes.
Honorable Duale, please let us be relevant.
I will be heard. I I will be
Please be relevant so that we can make progress.
in conclusion, Madam Chair, clause 8 is mischievous. Clause 8 is being used by dishonest leaders as a decoy to achieve political interests.
Very well.
And my chair, my proposal to delete is based on that.
Very well.
I ask the House to agree with me.
Very well. Very well. With that import, nothing is out of order. No. The honorable member, we have not proposed a question to be an asset of the House. Members, with that import of the proposed amendment from Honorable Duale, I move to propose the question, which is that clause 8 be part of the bill. Be amended as proposed. I put the question, members, which is that clause 8B. Okay, very well. Very well, members, just calm down. Honorable Sankok, resume your seats. Honorable Sankok, resume your seats. Members, I'm proposing the question. So that members can know what is the import of the debate. Yes, I propose a question for us to be in procedure, which is that clause 8B be amended as proposed by the Honorable Duale. Then I give let me start with the leader of majority. You have the ability to speak.
Honorable Chairperson.
All the members.
Honorable Chairperson, let me start by wishing the members a happy new year. And I stand to oppose the amendment proposed by Honorable Duale, and for a very simple reason. In 8A, we are admitting and accepting the issue of coalition parties are here to stay, and nobody is objecting that. Apart from being a political party, there is a timeline that they must submit their coalition agreement within 3 months if it's a pre-coalition, if it's a pre-election coalition, and within 21 days if it's a post-electoral coalition. Now, for a political party, which is different from the general coalition, we also need to have a timeline when that political coalition party agreement must also be submitted for the general information of the public, of the voters, of the members, so that everyone knows that this is what is contained within this coalition, to avoid surprises coming out. And this is something that is consistent with what we must do with every coalition. So by deleting this provision in 8B, when as proposed by Honorable Duale, it means political